We're starting now. Hello and welcome to the Reetin Entertainment Podcast, episode 437. Damn, we've been doing this a long time. For February 4th, 2024. My name is Nathan Reetin Spruce. Joining me this week, we have Andrew Rowe McFain.
No, this has been a really great return on investment, let me tell you.
I gave you $100 once. And thank you for being here, Connor the Cyberpunk Monk Besh.
And if you're feeling sad about it, remember, you could just dump all your emotions on Elmo.
It's true. Apparently, that's what you can do. But I'm your host, Nathan Reetin Spruce, and I want to know, where can we find you guys?
You do it, Aroa.
Go to Aroa.website. There's a bunch of links there. One of the links on there is to the actual play podcast of City of Big Bug Blues.
You didn't have to do that part, but I'm glad you did.
It's close. That was very close. that
Bug
was
City Blues, a Shadowrun
effort.
6th World Edition actual play podcast, wherever fine podcasts are found.
Mainly on, go to Spotify or iTunes. Those are mainly where people listen to podcasts, right? Or is it Apple Podcasts or something now?
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and I don't know, Castapod.
Nope, nobody listens on Castapod. Castapod's where it's hosted, though. But that's neither here nor there. It's actually hosted on a Roa server, and I give him money every once in a while to keep that up and running, because I think we take up a small percentage of his storage on his server. Anywho's, you can find me, Nathan Reetin Spruce, everywhere at Reetin, mainly twitch.tv/Reetin. Go there. I'm there Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time, playing video games. So you can watch me playing video games, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. But I would like to ask, what games have you played, Connor, this week?
That's it. The list is over. I moved this week. I haven't played any video game.
Oh, you didn't do anything at all. All right, well, that was easy and short. How was moving?
Sucked. My back hurts. Tired.
Yeah. You like your new house, though?
That's okay.
That's good. Maybe you can force all the other people out so you can have it all to yourself.
I don't think that's going to work out that way.
Oh, okay. And we're also joined... I'm sorry. I would also like to ask Aroa what games you've played.
Been playing a lot of Pal World.
Yeah. It's
Pal World, good game.
They made it so you can move.
Time. Yeah, whenever you're over encumbered.
Yeah. I have a Palmon that, while they're with me, I move slightly faster, like 10% faster or something like that. And I have them upgraded to like level 2. So I've sacrificed a bunch of other pals to give it even more speed. So even when encumbered, I move slightly faster. It's very helpful. And it's actually a pretty powerful Digimon pal. So it's helpful. It's very nice.
Digipal.
It has like level 2s and 3s on like 5 different categories. It's great. Anyway, what level are you in Pal World?
I have multiple save files going right now, but I think I'm like 30 in my personal one.
Yeah, that's. I think I'm 34, something like that.
Yeah, you're probably a good deal further along than me. Like, to level, you pretty much just have to go and grind catching pals.
Yeah,
and I spend a lot more time doing base management than I probably need to.
Probably. I moved my base because I had started a base and was like, oh, this is super easily defendable, which also translates into you can't build shit. because there's just not
Yeah.
enough space for some things. And so I had to
And
find
like your pals will constantly get stuck on shit while they're
Yep.
walking around.
Yep. Hi, this is my actual pal in real life just jumped on my desk. Yeah, it's a fun game. I'm enjoying it. Playing with friends definitely helps. As I said, I moved my game pile from Game Pass over to Steam, and I've been playing with some friends, and it's a lot more fun doing it that way, and like going up to the bosses and like using 3 people instead of just one person trying to kill it. But yeah, have you found any luckies? Do you have any luckies that you really like?
Yeah, I've got a few of them. Uh, I really like the like grass slug guy.
Go,
Um,
goo,
uh,
goo moss or
Goo
something?
Goomoss.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just looks really goofy, and I like that he's gigantic and dumb looking.
I have a really good lucky dire wolf, and it's pretty cool. I really,
I
I
like that.
really like it.
I like that everyone calls it a dire wolf, even though that's
It's a
not its
dire
name.
howl. I know.
I
It's
can't even remember its real name. So good on you.
it has the lucky one that I have has a 150 power lightning attack.
Huh.
So it destroys. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go and catch the up. Nope, he killed it. She killed it.
That's
Sorry.
such a like simple thing that shinies also have like some ability that normally they couldn't use.
Yeah.
That like I can't believe Pokemon's never done anything like that.
Right. I agree. I want to get a lucky Grim the Cheshire cat. I want to get a lucky one of those at some point. Because or a Mao, MAU, because both of those are what I use to make the grass pal that I really like that makes me run faster, and I want a lucky one of those so that way I can kill the other one that I have and and go from there. Anywho, uh did you play anything else? I mean, World of Warcraft, all that jazz, phone
Yeah, I
games.
mean, yeah, like not a lot of WoW. I can tell you that. That's
Yeah,
I might as well be on a hiatus on that shit.
that
But
Do
makes
it.
sense.
Leave it. Go away.
Leave it, go
It's not
away.
good for you.
Play City of Heroes. And we're going to talk about the other game I played, which is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. And that game is good. Did you know there's a Pokemon game inside of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth? I assume both of you know that.
Yeah, Sujimon.
yeah,
Yeah. I guess they have Sujimon, they bring that up where you're just, defeating enemies and collecting it for your Suja decks. But then they also have, which I haven't gotten to yet, a Sujimon catching game. I haven't played it yet, so I'm not completely familiar with it. But you can also do Sujimon tournaments later on in the game. So I'm very excited about that. However, I did not know there's another Pokemon game inside of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. There's a
is it
Pokemon.
with?
It's Pokemon Snap.
Oh yeah, Yahtzee mentioned that.
Yeah, so you go up. I went up to a troll because I've been kind of not paying attention to all of because I knew I was getting the game, so I was like, I don't care about reviews or whatever. It's all the Yakuza games I played have been amazing, so I'm going to assume this one's going to be amazing, and so far it has been. So I go up to a trolley, and the guy's like, "I'm taking pictures," and I was like, "Oh, whatever." It was a weird storyline, and then like he's like, "You want to take pictures?" I'm like, "Wait a minute, is this Pokemon Snap?" And it is just Pokemon Snap, where you're taking pictures of what's called sickos, which are just guys in, like, if you ever saw that image of Zardoz, where he wears like a really awkward like Speedo, you're taking pictures of buffed up guys in those Speedos doing different poses.
Oh hell yeah!
Sounds
And
very Yakuza.
yeah, so it's fun. It is just Pokemon Snap. And it's like a dumbed down version of Pokemon Snap, but still I love that these games include so many random things in them.
Now, I know you've been enjoying one of the 3 Pokemon simulators in Like a Dragon. Have you been enjoying the Animal Crossing simulator?
I haven't got to that part yet.
Ah,
It's the game. I get distracted. You know how it goes with open world games. I get distracted, and I need to continue on the storyline so I can open up more of those. But I just haven't been doing that. But yes, I will be partaking in the Animal Crossing as well, and it's enjoyable. I'm having fun. You end up in Hawaii. You start out in Japan like you normally do, and you're with your friends Adachi and Namba, and you ask somebody. So I'm gonna spoil the first chapter just a little bit. Is that you ask somebody to marry you? You go on a date with a lady. And on that first date, your character asks her to marry you. And so you go into a long speech where you're like, I'll be a great guy. If we ever have kids, I'll raise them right. I know I don't have a lot of money, but I love you and blah blah blah. And then she just doesn't say anything and is like, I had a lot of fun on this date. Bye. And it reminds me, in high school, I had a friend who had a huge crush on a girl. And he goes up to the girl, and he does the same thing. Not as elaborate, but it's like, I really like you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And her response was, cool. And then she walked away.
yeah.
And so, in the storyline, you ask, like you talk to her later, and she's like, let's just be friends. And he's like, okay. And he sends her a text message, and it flash forwards a year later, and she has not read the text message, and he's still like obsessing over this girl. I'm like, dude, get over it. You got ghosted. It's all right. But it's a humorous game, and it's fun. And then after that, you end up going to Hawaii. So that's where I'm at right now. It's Hawaii, and did you ever, when playing Like a Dragon, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Cyberpunk Monk, did you ever feel that Ichiban was kind of stupid?
If not a little dense, then like definitely highly schizophrenic. But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he's totally aware of what's going on at all times.
Yeah, like you get to Hawaii and immediately get mugged. And then after that, you end up getting drugged and laid naked on a beach. And
so
that
I
night,
do just want to say, the thought that I had with this game is, oh, you go to America. How long until someone points a gun at you? And as it turns out, the first 3 people you meet in America all point guns at you.
Yeah,
like as soon as you get as soon as you get off of the not the helipad, what do you call it? The airport. As soon as you get out of the airport.
Yep. And so, so that night, after he gets mugged, after he gets laid on the beach butt naked, he's like having drinks with a friend, and he's like, man, this country's awesome. And it's like, you are just the eternal optimist and kind of stupid. But it's a fun game. I'm enjoying it. I expect once it goes on sale, Cyberpunk Monk is probably going to be picking it up.
Yeah, I'll play it eventually.
Yeah. Oh, and apparently it runs really well on the Steam Deck. It's like Steam Deck verified and all that jazz, so you should be good to go. Anyway, those are the games I played, and we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about some news stories. Well, we'll do the PlayStation one last, just because that's going to be the longest one. But let's start with Suicide Squad, since not much to say about that. There's a new Suicide Squad game out, and have any of you seen the reviews?
Oh yeah.
It bad.
It's not doing so well. As far as being the very last portrayal of Batman by Kevin Costner, hell of a way to go.
That's sad. That's sad that Kevin Costner passed away, but
it was that bad.
It was that bad. No, I think it was cancer. I think cancer is what took him out, which is sad. So their servers, they brought them up for like early access. Because I hate that they do that. You're like, oh, you pre-order the game, you get access to the game 3 days early. It's like, no, the release date, it's just that 3 days early. That's all it is. and they immediately had to take the servers down because it wasn't working. Which is
well, it was working.
what
you
was
know.
yeah.
It wasn't working right. You can
Yeah,
connect to it.
just-
It would give you like all of the game's progress as soon as you did, but you can connect to it.
Yeah, it would give you 100%, which I guess it's good. Like if you want to 100% a game.
if you
Speed
just
run,
don't
turn
want to
it
play
on,
the
done.
game.
Yeah. What do they care? They got your money.
Yeah, it says we're aware that number of players are currently experiencing an issue whereby upon logging into the game for the first time, they have the full story completion. To resolve this issue, it would be performing maintenance to the game servers. I wonder if this was one of those accident. They left a a beta build that you downloaded. Because I've heard of times where, you know, they'll release a game or they'll do an update, but it'll be like a beta where maybe the developer was testing something in the game and just had it so that whenever you logged in, it would give you full story completion so you could check each chapter and make sure everything was working right.
Yeah, I could see it being that they had some kind of flag set on the server that was like, all the progress is done, game's done. You just go wherever.
Yeah,
And they forgot to turn that off.
And that, I mean, I brought up this story before. They've done that in Final Fantasy XI, where, you know, they were testing something with Cure, and they had it set to the developer. So literally, the level 1 Cure that you get at White Mage level 1, you could, it would do maximum healing / damage. So you could do 9,999 damage to a skeleton with the base level Cure ability.
Oh.
For like 2 hours until they're like, ah, shit. And they had to like shut down the servers real quick and take that flag off.
You know, the thing is with an MMO, like that makes more sense because it's an MMO.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be online. It's a fucking single player game with it has co-op, but like it's a single player game. It shouldn't be something that happens.
No.
But
And
Aroa, somebody could steal it. How will we make sure they don't steal it? We worked hard. The quality clearly shows itself in the finished product.
you know, I've seen like, you know, people complain about there's like a third party thing. I forget what it's called, but it's like a moderation group that will be like, "Oh, this doesn't fit. You know, this isn't like politically correct enough, as it were. And so you need to change it in this game." And I've seen people complain about that and say that's the reason why the game's ruined. And I'm like, it's having that in isn't going to, like, even if you change it and make it a great story, it's not going to make it a functional game. And that's what I think everyone's having the problems with, is that it's just not a functional game. So I really hope that this, because this is a live service game, right? I hope that live service games just stop. They need to, like, all live service games have been pretty crap in the last 5 years.
This thing's $70 too.
Yeah. And you know how much Power World costs?
And it has de novo.
Yep. And Power World, $30.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know it's not really fair to compare the two because the two were different types of games, but I've been having a lot more fun with Power World than I think somebody who's paid $70 for Suicide Squad. So, you know, you can spend your money in better ways and don't spend it on live. They need to kill live service games. So just don't spend money on them. Show the industry that live service games are not the way to go at this point because it's just not working out well. We're going to move on and we're going to talk about a Google update. Who brought that? Was this Connor?
Yeah, I posted it. So, you guys know how AI is kind of like becoming the big hot buzzword of the year, and it's gonna like revolutionize and change everything.
Yeah.
Well,
Whatever.
Yeah.
What if it was you? and I'm being a little facetious with this. It's not quite that bad, but like, what if that AI knew just the way that you talked, just the way that you talk to people, your inflections, your mannerisms, your own unique vocalisms, like the way that you spoke? Wouldn't that be kind of neat and not like creepy in a Black Mirror way at all? Well, good news.
Uh, uh, uh,
Google Bard, as a part of its goal to be your go-to AI assistant on your phone, is eventually going to be able to handle things like messaging people. And in order to do that properly, it's going to go through and read all of your old messages. All of them.
oh
All of
no.
your old messages. All of them.
I don't like that.
It's like
I'm
it's
not
a
a fan.
dangerous thing. Like, I think this is the sort of thing that you should be able to opt into, because I'm sure there are some people who are like, yes, make me a digital avatar. Not everyone.
I don't like that so much.
All
I don't
this is
like
going to
texting
do
in
is
general.
right. Yeah, you're not wrong on that. But like, do you guys remember when Microsoft made an AI and they had to shut it down after like 7 minutes because it got exposed to the internet?
Yeah.
That's
What
all
was
that's
it?
going to happen.
Tabby? I want to say something like that. Tally?
Tay.
Something like that.
Oh, I think it was Tay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
Tay sounds right.
It became racist immediately.
Yeah, because just 4chaners started trolling the fuck out of it.
Yeah, and so like somebody would ask about the Holocaust, and she's like, "The Holocaust didn't exist, silly," And Microsoft was like, we need to take this down. Can't.
Oh jeez. Oh
Ah,
no.
fuck. They did it again. They made my bot racist. So yeah, I'm not excited for this, but if it's only yours, like first off, yes, I agree with you, Connor, that you need to be able to opt in and not. It should be an opt in, not an opt out. That way you can say yes, I want to have this as a feature. But if it's only your voice it's looking at, that might not be so bad. Obviously, some people are going to have really weird AIs, but if it's locked down, if this particular one is locked down to your mannerisms and stuff, that might be okay.
You know, of all the people who could have done it, I'm going to trust Google the least when they say, "Don't worry, we're just going to look at yours. We're not going to look at what they were replying with," or whatever the case may be.
I gotcha.
They are also sending all of your messages that like go through Bard. Those are all going to be going to the cloud.
Yep.
And they're going to be used for training, which means that random humans are going to look at them and like, yeah, they're anonymized, but they're still yours.
Are they going to send picture? Are they going to send the picture messages too?
Almost certainly. Why wouldn't they? They want to see what kind of things people are communicating with. Also, if the way that you beat your AI is sending an image, that's not a good AI.
Yeah.
They probably won't do it immediately because right now they're probably trying to build like you guys use Teams at work?
Yeah.
Okay. It's the autocomplete in Teams where like you get a message and it's like you can click one of these 3 buttons if you don't feel like, typing.
Yeah.
They're presumably trying to make that, but for texting, because they know that like the email autocomplete that they already have isn't quite good for that. And like, yeah, it's a cool concept, but yeah, I don't need it.
It'll be. It says here at the end. This is what you're saying was that the data will be sent to cloud for processing, used for training, and may be seen by humans. It does say this data will only be stored for 18 months and will persist for a few days, even if you disable the AI, albeit manual deletion is available.
Yeah, you can probably go one by one and delete every message.
Awesome. You can't
Which,
just,
mind you, it's still tied back to your Google account token, so like somebody could find out who sent all those messages.
Somebody. I don't.
Somebody. Like the government.
I just don't like these like buzzwords and like AI and all that, because they've been working on artificial intelligence stuff for 3 decades now, and so
AI really is a meaningless word.
Yep, we know you're doubling down on something you've been doubling down on for the last 30 years. Just trying to extract more money and cost people jobs.
I try whenever I talk about so-called AI on like Twitter and shit, I try to specify LLMs because that's usually what people are referring to whenever they talk about AI chatbots.
Did I mention it on my podcast? I may have mentioned it on my stream, but I have I worked for a video game company for a year, and so I still have some friends who are in the industry. And one of them posted on Facebook the other day saying, "Hey, I hate AI art," basically, because she's like, "I'm an artist. I want to draw. I want to, go into the program and make art that looks good. I don't want to sit around all day and fix AI images and fix the way their fingers look all day. If that's going to be my career, I'm going to find something else to do." And I felt really bad for them because they've spent their life working on this skill, and then AI is coming in, and the publishers are like, "Hey, we don't care. Here's an AI image, fix it." Because it's cheaper.
I think that's going to become more and more commonplace.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In time, because
It makes
it's just in corporate environments, like you don't need good art, you need art that's good enough.
Yeah.
And so if that means that you can have some marketing guy type in a prompt for some stupid idea that they have, and then you can send, or you can send it to an artist on Fiverr or whatever, and have them spend an hour making it so that the hands only have 5 fingers, like, then whatever. Like,
So
that's fine. Look at what corporate art has turned into over the last not even 10 years, where it's all these fucking just bland, fucking flat, disgusting humanoid.
it's brutalism.
blobs.
But look, we added color.
Yeah.
I had a friend, and I honestly don't think this is going to cost as many full-time jobs for artists. But I do think it's going to affect a lot of contract workers. I had another friend that I spoke to when I was working at the studio that was like, "Yeah, I worked on Spider-Man, but I had no idea I was working on Spider-Man, the first version of the Insomniac game." And I was like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah." So, they gave me a contract, like a 6-week contract, to make certain character models in the game. And one of those was like, "Oh, make a generic SWAT in this style, like a SWAT officer in this style, and make a few different variations." And he's like, "Okay." And so he did that. And then he saw the trailer for Spider-Man. And he's like, "Hey, that's my character model." And so I think that if a manager can go and say, "Hey, we're just going to use AI to create these SWAT models," instead of going and getting a contract worker for a few weeks, then they're definitely going to do that. And it's going to take away from a lot of those contract workers who are just jumping between jobs, and it's going to kind of suck.
I've seen that sentiment in a lot of places, that particularly concept artists are going to get shafted the hardest.
Yeah, there needs to be something done about it. And I know our government isn't, because we all live in the United States. I'm sorry I doxed you guys. The entirety of the United States government sucks. And so I doubt that they're going to put any regulations on AI art in like video games or in media. And it's just going to devolve into a lot of people losing what little income they have from something that they've spent their lives developing the skill for. So that sucks.
I think it's going to become a novel thing to have completely human art, which is really fucking weird.
Yeah.
But it's like it is very ironic. And I've seen someone else on Twitter kind of give this same sentiment. It's very ironic that like it seems like throughout most of history we've sort of pushed for the automation of the most boring and uninteresting work, the manual labor sort of
Mhm.
shit, so that we could then pursue creative things. And yet here we are now spending ungodly amounts of money on creating a way to automate away the creative aspects
Yeah. It
of existence.
it is a little funny because I've seen studies, and these could be wrong, but a lot of people, more than 50% of people believe that AI is going to take people's jobs. Automation is going to take people's jobs. But also, of those same people, most of them also believe that it's not going to go after their jobs. And I'm just like, oh no, I am 100% aware that at some point in my life, my job is going away. Like,
Yeah, it like for a lot of tech workers that are doing things like just general sysadmin work,
mm-hmm.
uh, people who are particularly the cybersecurity sector, like that's going to take away so many threat analyst jobs
or
because like
or basic help desk. Like,
oh yeah,
oh,
yeah, basic help desk easily.
like,
Like
yeah, because with
If
mine,
your job mostly consists of remoting out computers and like patching updates, you're gonna be made redundant real fast.
or even
yeah,
like unlocking people's accounts, because you could have a bot that's just like, hey, I sent a verification code to your whatever device. Give me the code. Up, your account's unlocked now.
I feel like social
yeah.
engineering is gonna be a big problem in the next decade.
Probably. I mean, it's already a big problem, right? But
No, I mean a big like
yeah.
if I could just
It
talk to an AI and
yeah.
be like, "Yep, it's me. Reset my password, please," and there's no verification, it just does it. That's
I'm sure
dangerous.
there's got to be a verification, but like an
Well,
octocode or
there
something.
but he's got a point in that look at how many times just now, whenever this entire industry is brand new still, look at how many times people have been able to get ChatGPT to just vomit up passwords and
Yeah.
shit from its training data. Like the inevitable thing is going to be that every company has their own pre-trained LLM that's like for their company. Uh, so you're gonna have the like Dell employees are gonna have the Dell AI that they all talk to and all that shit. So like it's going to be particularly trained on internal company secrets and shit. Like and especially if we're outsourcing cybersecurity to these same AI models, like you're not even going to have the sensibility of a cybersecurity person to be like, wait, maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe we should like put some of this data like in a separate silo where like the AI doesn't get to see it
No.
because what it's somebody could just prompt it and get that data out of it some way that we haven't thought of yet. We did we do the story or did I just post the image of the there was a chatbot for like a for some company and they were they were talking to it and got it to like say ridiculous shit.
I
Like
I think you might have just posted, but we've seen
I think I just
that,
posted it. But
like, they don't, like, okay, like OpenAI or whatever, ChatGPT. You can't get it to. It won't say the N word, right? It won't say racist things typically. But then we've also seen that people have bypassed that by being like, "Oh, let's do a role play where you're racist.
yeah.
What would you
And,
say if
and
you were racist?"
and I've seen there are because like yeah, Chat GPT is the gold standard at the moment, but uh that company is just showing signs of cracking all over the place.
Yeah.
Um, but also there are a lot of other startups that are showing up using the same sort of of basis as ChatGPT. I'm sure a lot of them are using Meta's Llama model as a
Llamas.
basis. But I've played with a few of those, and like these are specifically being sold to companies for the purpose of you can just have your own AI that's catered to your employees or your customers, whatever. And those I think are where we're going to see the biggest problem with like they've only trained it on data, and they didn't consider that like they also need to train it on not doing stupid shit, or like they don't have the whatever the hell the setup prompt is. uh they don't have certain things in there to be like, if they ask about this, don't answer them. Like you're not allowed. The idea of answering anything about this subject absolutely terrifies you to the point of a panic attack. They won't think of that.
It just seems
And
so
s-
weird to me that at least from a initial glance, it's like the best way to have a smart AI is to make it dumb. Only make it like if you have Power Automate it, program those things that you want it to do. Don't let it do nothing else. General intelligence, no. Very, very specific intelligence.
You know what I also
yeah,
like about, before we move on, but what I also like about ChatGPT and Bard is that it will just make shit up. It'll just lie. And
But
yeah,
it will do
yeah.
it with confidence.
yeah,
It'll do it very confidently, and then it's the best whenever you correct it, or when it thinks that when it knows it's right, and then you correct it anyway, and then it's just like, oh, yep, I guess I was wrong. Never mind. Here's what you actually wanted to know, and it's like, like how are people like totally open to just kind of handing the keys to the kingdom over
well,
to
if you,
what are essentially like barely even alpha products at this point.
yeah,
But then we could fire like 20% of our staff, and then we could just take the money.
I've noticed in real life that if you say something confidently enough, then then people will believe it, even if it's not true. And an example I have of that is a person I knew in high school was on a debate, and I didn't partake in the debate, but it was after like whatever debate thing they went to. The teacher was praising them because my co-student, my peer, had stood up and just like been like, oh well, in this blah 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 blah, and she was just bullshitting, and people believed what she was saying because she said it confidently and had something to back it up, even though it was bullshit. And that girl's a lawyer now, so it tracks. just I was like, I wonder whatever happened to her, because she's one of my friends, like cousins or something like that. So I was like, I wonder what happened to her. And it's like, she's a lawyer. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. Just confidently making up bullshit. Good job. Anyway, we're gonna move on to our next story. And Activision has a new, oh wait, I'm sorry, Blizzard has a new president. Who left? It wasn't Kotick who was in Blizzard. That was Activision side.
Mike Ybarra.
Mike Ybarra. And we have a new person, Johanna Faries, is now the president of Blizzard. So good for them.
Go with that.
Do they have shady history like we have? Well, not shady history, but do they have history like Kotick and Ybarra, or are they more pro gamer?
I mean, they're not like sexually harassing their staff, so I guess that's an improvement. But
wait. It hasn't come out that they're sexually harassing their staff.
Sorry, you're right. They allegedly have not yet been sexually assaulting. You're right. We should be careful. We know what company we're talking about.
Right.
They when I say that, I mean Johanna Faries. They worked with Call of Duty, and I think they ended up being like the director of the latest one. Which,
general manager.
Thank you, general manager. Which, I mean, that's not an insignificant post.
Oh wait,
I guess not. I don't know what the fuck that even means.
According to
in
this,
terms of like game dev.
I imagine that means anything that gets approved needs to go through her desk.
Yeah. So this is from the article from PC Gamer. It says her appointment represents a significant change for Blizzard, whose leaders in the past have come through the ranks of gaming and tech. J. Allen Brack, who took over as president of Blizzard, co-founder Mike Morhaime stepped down because his time with the company as a producer of World of Warcraft, The Burning Crusade in 2007, and his extensive development credits preceding that. Ybarra, who took the reins alongside Jen O'Neill when Brack resigned in 2021 over the workplace harassment and discrimination scandal at Blizzard, was previously on the company's general manager of platform and technology. And before that, they had served as the president of Xbox Live and Game Pass at Microsoft. O'Neill, who resigned just 3 months after becoming Blizzard's co-president, had a similarly long list of credits, including 5 years at the head of Vicarious Visions. So it looks like
So
Fairies.
you missed the part above that actually explained what the fuck Fairies had previously done,
Right.
which was being a marketer for the NFL.
Yes. So what I was getting at is, I don't think this person's going to be pro gamer.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't like the idea of her being president of Blizzard because, like,
What are they going to do? Make World of Warcraft worse?
Yeah, they're going to add microtransactions into it.
Well,
Or not
more
microtransactions, but like
microtransactions.
gotchas. Yeah, loot boxes.
Yeah, because she went from the NFL, kind of working her way up through the NFL, in the marketing branch of things, and then joined Activision in 2018 to be commissioner of Call of Duty esports before becoming head of leagues in August 2020, and then the Call of Duty general manager in April 2021. Now, that said, you got to consider Call of Duty kind of like reinvented itself over the last several years in a way.
It's definitely
Like,
not Modern Warfare anymore. I mean, it might be called that, but I mean, like, it doesn't play like the old ones.
no, and that whole what the hell is the battle royale mode called? Blackout, something like that.
So-
Warzone, I think.
Warzone.
Warzone's
That's
the
it.
new
I don't know
one,
where
'cause
the fuck
They had one
Well-
that was like Blackout before. That was a battle
Warzone-
royale mode.
Warzone. You say new one, but I think that came out like 2020 or some shit.
Newer.
You can see how much we fucking pay attention to the Call of Duty
Yeah.
franchise. But like it's done very well. So but the thing is, like, you can also possibly chalk that up to really good marketing. Like, I don't know. I'm curious to see how it goes. I don't think that what Blizzard, or particularly since the only thing I really care about is World of Warcraft, I don't think that the thing World of Warcraft needs is better marketing. I think it needs better direction. But like, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows what she's actually done? So I'm not going to discredit her up front. I'm very suspicious of people who are big into marketing.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to wait and see, because it does seem like if any company, and this is, I don't like thinking this way, but I think it's true. In some cases, I think if any company needs a female leader, it's probably Blizzard. The Jen O'Neill that you mentioned, whenever she was supposed to be the co-president or whatever, it was probably a good idea, but she resigned because the culture within Blizzard was a fucking cesspool,
Yeah.
particularly towards women. So, like, I think having a figurehead within the company that is a woman has a lot of potential to, like, drive things in a better direction,
Hopefully.
at least in terms of corporate culture. But You just have to see.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure she's qualified for the job, but a lot of times those qualifications are make us money, and that's
Yep.
all we care about.
Well, yeah, she's
Make our
in marketing.
investors money.
Yeah. We're gonna move on to our last stories, I guess, because we're gonna cover the PlayStation State of Play, which did not have that many trailers. So and a lot of them we can just kind of skip over or skim over. The first trailer I see is Helldivers 2. Did either of you play Helldivers 1?
No, but I know the only reason I didn't play it is because it seemed like they screwed up Iron Man the game so badly.
Yeah, I hear some good things about the original Helldivers. This does have some gameplay stuff, but from the gameplay I see, it gives me Anthem vibes, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
So
this game,
hopefully
just
it's better.
from the footage that they selected to choose, it needs a refreshed color palette. It's so, like, kind of confusing to know what you're looking at sometimes whenever I watch footage of it.
It needs a color palette.
It needs a color palette.
Yeah, it very much has like Xbox 360, like 2008 color vibes.
Yeah. They put the piss filter over it.
It will require to play the PC version at 4K and 60 FPS. They recommend you have a 4070 Ti, and it requires 100 gigs of storage.
Ugh.
Why?
Can we stop doing that, developers? There's no reason that things need to be that big.
I assume it's
get it, but
textures more than anything.
yeah,
Uncompressed audio again.
Can you guys just like not? I'll gladly take the lower res textures if I can save 50 gigs of storage.
You know, I did like, wasn't Battlefield had one of those where like you could download the higher res textures and it took up another like 20 or 30 gigs of space?
A lot of recent PC games, and by recent I mean like, I don't know,
The last 20 years.
6 or 7. Well, really, maybe like 2015. So maybe the last 10 years or so. There have been a lot of PC games where I've seen like an HD texture pack as DLC. Bethesda games in particular like to do that.
I know you guys
Skyrim's
are
the first one I could think of.
I know you. Well, actually, I know you guys are pretty young. Have you ever played the original Fallout 2? Like,
Hell yeah.
from a disc?
Hell yeah.
Mhm.
When you go to install that game, they have like 4 different install levels. One of which is 400 megs.
Yeah.
And that's the huge install, so that you have everything on your disc.
Yeah, I
400
feel like
megs.
feel like the original Fallout had an install option that was like not even like 10 megs.
Mhm.
It was
Text
like
to speech
the
mode.
Well,
it's like the most barest of bare bones.
no, it would just stream everything from the disc.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so
I wondered how the fuck that was even possible.
Yeah, so you would just install part of the game, and then your loading times would take forever because it was reading it off the disc and putting it into the RAM. But it made sense because not everyone had even a 10 gig hard drive at the time.
I only got a 500 megabyte hard drive. What am I supposed to do here?
Exactly. So it that made sense back then, and I would hate to see that. Oh, you have to put the disc in and read it off the Blu-ray. See you in 20 minutes.
Hey, people were mad about that when Blu-rays first became the medium of choice on the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
And
I played
where we are now.
I played Metal Gear Solid 4. I beat it.
You don't play Metal Gear Solid 4. You watch Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah. It would be, I would do 15 minutes of gameplay, have like an hour, literally an hour and a half long cutscene, and then another hour installing the next portion of the game.
We're cutting a little bit ahead here. Hideo Kojima recently announced that he's making a new espionage game.
No. We're not cutting ahead. We're gonna talk about that. That's the
okay,
end.
I'll bring it up then, and then when I bring it up, you'll be like, "Why are you bringing that up?" So fuck you.
No, I will not. I'm just saying that's the last part of this, and I don't want to skip forward that much. The next trailer they showed off.
Talk about. I don't even know what you're complaining about.
We'll talk. Yeah, exactly. The next game they talk about was Until Dawn. That's getting a remake, I guess.
That was asked for.
I'm sure somebody
PC release was asked for.
Yeah, Yeah, it's got a new musical score. You know, they're upgrading visual detail. Good for them. I played it a couple years ago. It was fine. I had like 3 people die.
They're putting it. They're presumably putting it in the because it says it's being put in Unreal 5, and I don't know what the the anthology, whatever the fuck that was called. I don't know what those were done in, if it was an internal engine or if it was an Unreal.
Yeah.
But it says that they're adding a third person camera, which is a really weird way to put that because I think they mean over the shoulder camera. Because the last one of those uh introduced like a very Silent Hill esque sort of over the shoulder camera,
Interesting.
and so I'm assuming that that's how it's going to play, which will be very interesting. I'm curious to see how that works.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we have Silent Hill 2.
Wow.
It's getting remade again by Bloober Team. So it'll
Well,
probably be okay.
No, it won't.
Oh, it won't be?
Didn't the remake of 1 not do really great? Like, I'm surprised that this one got greenlit so fast.
Remake is a bit of a stretch if you're talking about Shattered Memories.
The most recent one, which I think is Shattered Memories.
No,
Yeah. Isn't
most recent one.
Silent
I thought they
Hill
were remaking one, and like the advertising was all like he's standing in front of. I'll find it out.
now Silent Hill 2? That's the most
The remake of
popular.
1 was on the Wii.
Oh no, I'm thinking of one more recent.
So we're gonna talk about Silent Hill 2 for a second. That's the most. That is the most popular Silent Hill game, from what I understand. I've never really played them.
Possibly. It's definitely it's the one that has the most notoriety, I would say.
Yeah.
Because I think within fans of the Silent Hill franchise, I think a lot more people would maybe at least debate that 3 could be better
Yeah.
if that's what you mean by popular. But yeah, 2 is definitely the most renowned
Yeah.
because it's a much more true psychological horror, and it's just very different from both Silent Hill 1 and 3.
They need to leave in the dog ending. Was that it? That was in 2, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would be very surprised if they took that out.
And that's going to be Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, because I don't think that Bloober Team is doing this out of like a cynical thing. I think that they've wanted to do this for a while. All of their games really take a lot of influence from particularly Silent Hill 2. Because that's just like what every Western developer has held as the golden standard for making a psychological horror game for a really long time. It's just that it looks like it plays like fucking Resident Evil 4.
Yes, it does.
It looks just. I was actually gonna say Resident Evil 2 remake, but I mean we're splitting hairs at this point, I guess.
Yeah, like same idea. But like you don't do a combat reveal trailer for a remake of Silent Hill 2.
It
Yeah.
seems like they missed the point with
franchise-
that.
Yeah, it's a franchise where the fucking PSP game Silent Hill Origins had like somewhat competent combat, and like people were like, "What the fuck? Combat's not supposed to be this smooth at Silent Hill."
Yeah.
And then here you've got this over the shoulder fucking gunning down monsters. Fucking you got a nurse vaulting over a barrier like it's fucking Gears of War. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it's not it's not going to be the Silent Hill you remember.
It's not
And-
your daddy's Silent Hill 2.
It's worse.
And the one I was thinking of earlier, the one that I couldn't remember of, Silent Hill Ascension, which was like it's not live service, but it was it's like a stream, I guess. I all I really know about it is it didn't do too.
Yeah, it's a Netflix choose your own adventure game thing.
Interesting.
Silent Hill for some
Oh
reason.
yeah, that was really bad.
Yeah, everyone hates it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I'm surprised as to why like this got greenlit. So maybe there's just like, guys, we need to make our money back.
Yeah, and
Oh, it
Silent
was all
Hill.
done at the same time.
Oh. Interesting.
So somewhere internally at Konami, somebody was like, "Hey guys, maybe we should just have other people make our games for us." And they were like, "Oh, okay." And so then a bunch of Silent Hill games got greenlit all at the same time.
And we can move on to the next one, which is the one I'm actually most excited about, which is Dragon's Dogma 2. And it looks like more Dragon's Dogma, which is good. One thing in the trailer that I didn't like, and I've been starting to not like this in most games that I play. It's you're called the Arisen in this, and the pawns are always like, "Oh my God, Arisen, you're so amazing, you're great." And I was like, stop having the NPCs always praise the main character like that. It's annoying to me nowadays. And so that was annoying, but the gameplay looks great. I don't think either of you have played through Dragon's Dogma.
I haven't beaten it, but I have played it. It's okay.
It's got a lot of systems that you could tell that they wanted to do more, or that, like,
Their heart was in the right place.
It was, and there are a lot of really cool systems in the game that if you're just playing through the game, you might not experience unless you like look around for them. Such as, like, there's a person who can forge items for you. I spoke about this on the podcast before, and like there's an item that can give you a really good buff if you keep it, but in order to finish this quest, you have to give them that item. But you can go to the guy who makes a forgery, have him make a forgery, and then turn it in so that you can get that reward. Or you're asked for the same item from two different people, and you can finish both of those quests by making a forgery of that item, which is pretty great. You can also screw someone over. There's like a magic book that you can get for somebody, and in order to finish that quest, you have to give him that book. But you can also make a forgery of it, give him that book, and later on in the game, when you go to fight a griffin, he shows up and is like, and if you gave him the real book, he'll be actually super helpful. And if you gave him the forgery, he will not be super helpful. He will be not helpful at all, which I think is a great way to lead that story. But yeah, it's exciting. It's coming out on March 21st. Not liking the requirements for the game. In order to run at 4K 30 frames per second, you're going to need an RTX 2080.
Why do you care about 4K though?
I don't, but that's just what it says right here.
Yeah,
I have
but
I have a 1440p monitor, so I should be good. In order to do ray tracing, you need a 2080 Ti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ray tracing in 4K at 30 FPS.
Right.
Yeah. It's beefy.
Which
1440, I should be able to. I might have to lower down the graphics to like high or medium settings, but
you got like a 3070. You'll probably be fine.
I'll probably be okay. I'll probably.
You're not streaming it at 4K anyways.
Not yet. Not yet. Someday. Not really. I'll probably stick at 1080p. This is the one I know Aroa wants to talk about. And we're going to move on to Judith now. Sonic and Shadow Generations.
Yeah. The main thing that this did was remind me that Sonic Generations came out like
a long time ago.
Apparently 13 years ago.
Yeah.
13? What? No.
Yeah.
That can't be right.
2011.
No.
I was like...
Connor's having an existential crisis over there.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no. I rented this. I played Sonic Generations back when you could still rent video games. Oh, my God. Yeah, so that was depressing.
Yeah.
The trailer doesn't really show a whole lot other than it's just a remake or remaster of Sonic Generations, and now there are levels where you play as Shadow. I am curious, like, are they going to be like full on? Is it going to be like a full on campaign, like of equal length to the original Generations, but now you're playing as Shadow? Or is it going to be like 6 levels that are just like kind of kind of cool. Like the visuals look really cool,
Yeah.
but I don't think that there was that much from that you can pull from Sonic Adventure 2 and Shadow the Hedgehog, which I'm assuming are going to be the only games that they pull shit from. Maybe they pull from Sonic 06, but the thing is, Sonic 06 Shadow played completely different from anything else. So like,
Yeah.
I don't think they would do that because like his whole gimmick in that game was using vehicles. Uh, but I want to see what they do with it. But I swear to fuck, if they charge more than like $40 for it, that's gonna be a ripoff.
I
TBH.
also saw on Twitter somebody said, "Do not Google Sonic X Shadow."
No, don't do that. That's a bad idea. I've done that myself as a short-lived project.
I'm
As you
sure
may
you did.
recall,
You have all of that on your server now.
my fan fiction readings.
Oh right, yes. But yeah, do not Google Shadow or Sonic X Shadow. Just don't do it.
You're just gonna upset yourself.
The next game that they showed off was Judas. Did either of you watch this trailer?
I've seen enough people bitching on Twitter about it to
Really?
know the gimmick.
It's
idea.
BioShock.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. People aren't bitching necessarily about the game itself. They're bitching about the fact that Ken Levine went out of his way to be like, I don't want to make BioShock anymore. I'm tired of making the same game over and over again. So he founds this new studio. He makes one unique game, and then he's just immediately like, let's make BioShock again.
Yeah.
So
I think it looks nice though. I think it looks good. Like the art style. It's in a space station instead of underwater, which is completely different, as you know.
well, didn't he?
It's the
Did
same
Ken
thing.
Levine did he work on Infinite? I don't remember.
He did. He did work on Infinite. It was the last game
Oh.
that he worked on before he left that studio.
So
So it went from underwater to in the sky to in space. And
Yep.
the game looks good. I like the art style, and hopefully it's good. The next one they showed off was Stellar Blade. I actually saw this and thought, man, this is at least the art style is totally up Roa's alley.
Are you just saying that because it's big titty anime women?
Yes. Am
Well,
I correct?
That's fair. I mean, it's fair. I do like like it looks really nice, and I like the like sort of post-apocalyptic ultra sci-fi kind of aesthetic going on.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Nier a little bit.
Yeah,
more colorful, obviously, but
in art style, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, in art style, definitely. The combat does look like it could be fun. I can't tell if it's going for a more of a hack and slash or if it's trying to be soulsy. At least not from the trailer, but I've seen a few people talking about it, and it does look cool. I like the monster designs and shit. So hopefully it comes out on PC. It probably will.
yeah,
So.
it probably will. It's coming out on PS5 April 26th. And that's exclusive, but we don't know how long that's going to be exclusive for. The next one that they showed off was Rise of the Ronin. It's Sekiro. I watched it. It's Sekiro, or very similar to like a Dark Souls, but in that feudal Japan time.
Well, it's the Neo franchise's take on Sekiro.
Yeah,
Even though it's not, it's not Neo, but yeah.
It's got sword fighting. It has a grappling hook. It has a hang glider. So that's coming out March 22nd, a day after Dragon's Dogma. And it says that there should be a PC release at some point, but for right now, it's just coming out on PS5. We're working our way. We're almost to the end. The next story is Death Stranding 2, and I watched this trailer. I have no idea what's going on.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't either, but holy fuck. I was like, At first I was just like, oh yeah, this looks like pretty much par for the course. This is what I expected. And then the fucking samurai fight happened, and I
Yeah.
was like, all right, what the fuck is going on now?
And it's like got no
Everything-
gameplay.
It's all like walking around and talking. Here's the ship. You're gray for some reason. It's like everything Hideo Kojima touches, I'm so curious to learn more about because it just never makes any sense.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on with this game. The guy so in the trailer, the guy takes off his mask and he's got like the crow face paint on, right? The white
Yeah.
and then and I was just like this
he's got Joker makeup.
Yeah. He's a
yeah.
Harlequin.
Yeah, and I was just like, "Huh. Does he do that every day? Does he like
You
wake
don't?
up and just like
It's
do
probably
his
tattooed
makeup?"
on his skin.
That could be it. That could be it. Yeah. But I mean, I just don't.
He fell into a vat of acid, and now he's just always like that.
Should I play through? I own Death Stranding. I think I got it for free on the Epic Game Store.
It's a weird game. Like it's not going to be a game where you're running around shooting people, getting your next objectives. It's mostly walking around.
Did they ever
it's
make
a very contemplative experience?
Did they ever make a mod that turns the baby in the game into Baby Sinclair from Dinosaurs TV show?
No.
I doubt it.
Damn it. So I won't be able
Also,
to add
that would make the samurai fight in Death Stranding 2 kind of weird.
Not the mama. Yes. So it would. Maybe I'll play through Death Stranding 1. So I'm saying this as if I play through Death Stranding 1 and I'll have any fucking idea what's going on. Because I know I won't. I know that I play through Death Stranding 1 and I'm like, okay, I'm going to rewatch this trailer and be like, I still don't know what's going on. The only thing I understood in that is that the bad guy, I guess, was like, no, we're going to replace humans with bots so that the bots can just do all the deliveries for us. And I'm like, I get that. That's a good use of artificial intelligence. And that's the bad guy saying that. So, yeah, I don't know. And then Kojima.
It's because the whole point of Death Stranding is to reform connections between members of humanity.
Oh, I see. And if the bots are doing that, then there's going to be no form of connection.
Then everyone's just going to stay in their own little silos, and humanity will stagnate and just die in a hole.
You just sit in their echo chambers. Got it. So then we had two people talking. Just Kojima and somebody else, some head of the PlayStation Studios or something. And they have a new studio. And this is what I interrupted Connor so we could talk about.
So Hideo Kojima's like, oh, it's great that we work with Sony because not only does Sony make video games, but they also make movies. And I want to make a game that feels like a movie. And I was like, what are you talking about? Every game you make is a movie.
Yeah. It's been like that since PlayStation 2. Come on.
Come on, Kojima. Who are you fooling here?
Like, I mean, I hesitate to say that Metal Gear Solid 1 for the PlayStation felt like a movie. It had more narrative aspects than a lot of games back then, but there was a lot more gameplay in that. And then you move on to Metal Gear Solid 2, and that started his trend of it just feeling like a movie. And
it was like 60-40.
Yeah, it was still more of a game than it was a movie, but there was a lot of narrative in that.
It's nothing like MGS4.
No. Yeah, and then MGS. I think what was it? Metal Gear Solid 5 has a lot more gameplay. It's less narrative than Metal Gear Solid 4, but
it's also not a finished game.
Is it?
Yeah.
Not
Metal
finished?
Gear Solid 5 is just kind of that was when Kojima was getting shoved out, basically.
Yeah, he got. That's why he started working with PlayStation and all that. I didn't know that it wasn't finished though. I thought that it was finished and then he left.
No, they kicked him out and then they just kind of put a cap on the game.
Okay,
and that's why there are certain things, particularly in the multiplayer, that don't really work the way that they were intended.
Interesting. So yeah, this whole thing, I thought, hey, they're gonna at least announce a game or something. Like say, hey, we got Kojima, he's got his new studio, he's working on his first game, here's the name of the game. Nope, they're just like, here's a studio. He'll
It's
make a
in
game
a
eventually.
it's in a movie lot. So I
It's
and
Columbia
this
Pictures. Like they
this
had this nice
this
shot
is
of a drone zooming out, and I thought they were intentionally kind of making it look like Mother Base. I think that maybe just me because whenever I see Kojima, my mind does that.
Yeah. But
I
yeah.
wonder if they're going to like it'd be really cool if Kojima found a way to do like an FMV game.
I love and hate FMV games, but it
Well,
would be fun.
like even if it was something like a much better executed The Quiet Man. You
Oh
remember
yeah.
that?
I remember that because that was the one where it was like an action game but you were deaf. But
Yeah.
then all of the cutscenes that didn't have you in them were still muted for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they had a patch where you
And
could
they
play it
didn't
with
have
sound.
captions.
Yeah.
It was a really cool concept, but like the like also really cool thing was the way that it would it was live action, and that it would try and almost succeed at then whenever the action started, it would blend into the gameplay. Like I thought that was really cool. There was a lot of really cool shit there, and it just didn't quite get there because Square Enix can't seem to do anything fucking new to save their lives.
Yeah, that sucks. But hopefully, whatever Kojima comes up with it will be unique. I know that. Hopefully, they'll just it's a remake of Snatcher. That's all I want. Just a remake of Snatcher.
Yo,
Uh, but
that would be so fucking wild
it
for
would
him to
be.
make like a modern visual novel.
That'd be great. But yeah, that was the entire state of play. It was actually pretty short, so that's why we covered all of it. Were there any games that stood out to you that any of you guys want? I mean, obviously Sonic for Aroa, but was there anything else that stood out to you that you're like, oh, I might actually check out that game?
No,
No.
not even a
Okay.
little bit.
Oh, okay. Not
Like
even
I'd feel bad if I was Sony right now.
interesting. What about you, Aroa? What about Death Stranding or that Stellar Blade? Anything like that?
I'm not excited for anything other than I just want to see what the fuck is going on with Death Stranding. But like, no, I'm inevitably whenever like Stellar Blade releases, I'm gonna go, oh yeah, that game. Like, I'm not putting March whatever on my calendar, or April 26th on my calendar and going, gotta get a PS5 by this day. Like,
Oh yeah, I have a PS5. I can play this.
you, yeah, right? No, I don't. I don't want to say I don't give a shit, but like,
You
it's
don't give a
whatever.
shit?
I like. There's so many other games that I could play, and shit, I haven't finished Death Stranding, so like, I could go back and do that instead.
You
That
know,
runs really well on Steam Deck.
before I leave, I was just thinking, I was like, man, if I could get another contract at Sony and steal a PlayStation 5 dev kit, that'd be cool. But what I was thinking was when I was working there, um, it you would get the dev kits in, but when you return the dev kits, they want you to return it in the original box it came in. And we had like 200 dev kits. So we just had like a room just dedicated to boxes for PS5 dev or PS4 dev kits. It was
It's like my
Nah, boss,
closet.
I don't know where that one went.
yeah. I don't know. We did lose some things. Like there was a PS Vita dev kit that went missing, and it wasn't because of me. And so when we were
that would be really cool.
yeah, it was pretty cool. I think I sent you pictures of it.
I
Anyway,
think you did.
so we're gonna end this podcast. I want to thank you for being here, Aurora.
I was here.
You were late because you had to eat a Hot Pocket.
I had to eat the Hot Pockets. If I bring the Hot Pockets down with my boy, he would be like, I want the pepperoni.
And by his boy, he means the cat, not like a child that he keeps in his basement.
Aurora's kidnapped child.
And thank you for being here, Connor.
I'm gonna pack up some boxes and go to bed.
I let you move out of my basement. Are you happy?
I'm finally able to see the sun again.
I'm happy for you. And we will be back next week with some more exciting news. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Give pepperoni, father. Give pepperoni.